To see the creation of this program from what started as an idea to then becoming the program that it is. She has elevated our issues to a national platform with her added charisma and passion and really vision.
I first joined LPPI in the fall of 2017. I was a first policy fellow. I came in having no network. As a first generation student, I had no network to rely on, and Sonja took a chance on someone like me. She was really excited to hire somebody that understood what it meant to not be represented, because this institute itself is about representation. The way she moved forward this organization was nothing short of empowering to me, because she really defined to me what being ambitious is.
One of the reasons why I said yes to coming to work at LPPI was precisely because Sonja was here, and I knew that she would be doing things that are not done traditionally in academia. And in those 2.5 years, Sonja directed everything at LPPI with an amazing group of students who were there to support. She helped us reimagine what our research institute could be and should be. She also made sure that we create a research institute very agile in reacting to things that are happening in the moment. And so that agility is very unique to the Latino Policy and Politics Institute, and that is Sonja's stamp on it.
I think under her leadership, she has really changed what it means to be a Latino student and what it means to be a Latino scholar at the Luskin School of Public Affairs. I have been at the Luskin School of Public Affairs for 15 years. I was probably the only Latina leading one of the research centers there. We had very few Latino professors, and so the fact that one day you come up to the 6th floor and you see a whole bunch of Latino students and Latino scholars, that changes the dynamic, right? It changes the dynamic of what's seen as important about what research questions are valid, what experiences are valid, and so that's the legacy that she's left.
I feel that this is a really pivotal moment in the development of Latinas and Latina leadership. What we have now is this remarkable moment when we have enough people, they used to call it critical mass, to actually achieve things as a collective. I want to highlight 3 really critical contributions that I think occurred under Sonja's leadership. The first one is the nurturing of new talent. That is the creation of a pipeline of leadership, academic leadership, thought leadership, that will guide our responses to future problems. Another important contribution was the coordinating of the talent we already have, because people tend to work in their own little spaces, and they may not feel that they're part of a larger community of researchers. And yet it is remarkable what a sense of community and dialogue with other people who are interested in the same issues can do for you. And I think the third one is the raising of the visibility of these issues. The raising of visibility has been very externally oriented, with reports and impact statements and creating smaller policy documents that are more digestible for people who are actually out there making the decisions. And so that visibility is the critical third part, where you develop the knowledge, but then you figure out a way to get it out where it can make a difference.
When the vaccine for COVID-19 came out and the state of California was deciding who was going to be prioritized in getting first access to that vaccine, Sonja immediately understood that Latino communities in the state of California were much more exposed to the virus because of the types of work that people were doing. And so she mobilized again, in the Sonja tradition, a whole set of people across the state, including putting together a communication strategy where in the media, through op-eds, through interviews, through other things, we were bringing up awareness that there were a lot of people who were going to be left out in the Latino community from the vaccine. And then the state changed strategy.
Are you going to go to work for a job that is not paying you and not giving you sick leave and put your kids at risk while schools are closed? We should not be making workers in their most productive years make those choices. We need to remember that COVID-19 is not the last crisis.
There are 2 things that I would point to that I think Sonja's been really instrumental in doing at LPPI. One is helping faculty and researchers understand how to reach the public with their message. So I think there are lots of faculty members and researchers who are doing great work on really important and pressing topics, and they're sitting in law schools or in public policy schools, and they're writing their papers, and 3 people read those papers. And the second, I think, is just figuring out what the research agenda ought to be in a way that is sensitive to the needs and voices of people in the Latino community.
It was Sonja who brought all of these people together for us to have a unified voice across sectors, across generations, across geographies in California to make things happen.
I think Latina leaders, Latina voters have a very important role to play in shaping the policies and the definition of what the United States of America is going to be. The future of our country, the definition of what America is very much in our own hands. So I'm very glad that these leaders from so many walks of life and in so many different endeavors have been brought together by Sonja, because we need that. Our country needs it.
We got to give it up for Sonja Diaz. I was here when Sonja was LPPI, when she was holding this thing together every single day. In fact, before I was a legislator, one of my first delegation trips up to present research was as part of Sonja's delegation presenting LPPI research. She built this thing with a team, and I see that team is growing. That team is strong. The fellows are powerful.
Sonja reimagined what a research institute at the country's top public university could be. 3 things were fundamental: communications, power mapping, and relationship building.
Sometimes you ask people for help and you ask for a little help, but we have relied so heavily on the research done and the presentations done by Sonja and her colleagues. I have never seen an organization step up and provide us with so many resources and be such a critical aspect of that. So thank you, Sonja.
Well, Sonja is a trailblazer. The fact that we are at an institute that is created at a university, part of the UC system, that had never existed before. When we're in a state that is 40% Latino and a city that is over half Latino and Latina in its representation, is a testament to her vision and to her leadership to create this kind of an institute, and it will be a long-lasting legacy. Her vision, her foresight, her hard work, her sacrifice are all things that inspire me and really command a lot of respect from my part as a fellow Latina leader.
Sonja has always been a visionary. She's always had these grand ideas that, knowing her, I know that she can accomplish.
Being Latina, you're often told, no, you can't be the president because of X, Y, or Z, or you can't get this job because X, Y, or Z, or you can't be a lawyer because there's like so many barriers that are preventing you from getting there. But I think for me, Sonja really showed me that being ambitious is okay, and not being intimidated by whether or not you see folks that look like you in certain spaces. In fact, it should be empowering.
One of the things that I appreciate about the vision for the Latina Futures Lab is the idea of really focusing on this intersectional experience of women who are women of color, who are navigating difficult spaces, and really paying attention to intersectionality in thinking about not just research agendas, but also public policy, law, legal institutions, and media.
For the work that is being led by Sonja, it'll have tremendous implications for the university. I don't think we can ever go back. Latinos are at the forefront. That is not going to change, and so that is her legacy going forward.